Hello, today I'm going to be showing you white heat embossing on black cardstock and how it really stands out. Right now I'm just using my anti-static pouch. I think I used a little too much because you can see the white powder on there, but sometimes that happens. We'll brush it off later. I use my Versamark. I'm going to be using the small mandala first. So I ink up my stamp with the Versamark. Make sure I get a good adhesion from the Versamark onto my cardstock. Then I get my white embossing powder. I am using Ranger Superfine Detail White Embossing Powder today. I just sprinkle it over where I used the Versamark in the stamp. Make sure you sprinkle enough on there so it sticks, but not too much. Then you just shake off the excess. I'm going to go in with my little brush and get out the little areas that I don't want the embossing powder to be on, because if I don't remove it, it'll get stuck to the card. But the anti-static pouch is supposed to stop most of that, but sometimes there's still a little bit within the pattern itself. You just go in with a little fine brush, take care of those little details. And if you brush off too much, then you just spoon some more embossing powder on there. Now I use my heat gun to set the embossing powder. See how nice that looks? Oops, it's not dry. I'm gonna have to use my heat gun again. Then you just go back in and make sure it's dry. Now I'm going to use the large mandala stamp in the center, just finding the right position where I want what I'd like it to be. I use my Versamark again, and I make sure I get that covered all over the stamp very well. Just keep checking, make sure that the Versamark is on the stamp. Get it positioned the way you want it positioned on your cardstock. Push hard, make sure you get good adhesion to the cardstock so your embossing powder will stick. There you can see it on the cardstock. I really like the contrast between the black and the white embossing powder. It really makes it stand out. Because sometimes on lighter colors, you don't necessarily see so much of the white embossing. And again, I will go in and I will brush off the embossing powder that I don't want stuck on the card. I will spread some more powder from where it didn't quite stick. Or sometimes when you're tapping it, too much of the powder comes off. So you just go back in and put some more powder on there and lightly tap it. Don't tap too hard. You might tap all the powder off. I've never done that, but you never know. Now I'm going to go in with my little fine paintbrush, take out some of the areas that kind of stuck in. This is a very intricate pattern, so it's not always so easy. So sometimes you can't be too fussy. I do that until I think it looks good, or I can get off where I don't want it. If you make a mistake, brush too much off, well then you just put a little more powder on it before you set it. Yep, not quite so happy, so I put a little bit more powder on there. Go in with my little brush again, brush off what I can. It's a very close pattern, so some of it's hard to do. Then I get my heat gun and I set my embossing powder with my heating tool. You just want to go around evenly, and there you go. Voila! Isn't it beautiful? Be sure to watch out for my next video where I add blue to this card. Now I'm just using a little bit of brush just to brush off some of the powder from the anti-static bag. It really shows up on darker cardstocks for sure. Thought I could use my eraser a little bit and see if I could get some more off. I did get a little bit off, but maybe next time I won't brush it so hard. I'll just do it lightly. But I'm using this as a demo, so it's okay. And there you go. Be sure to watch for my next video.